I think China's leadership at the United Nations level in supporting the COVAX facility is very, very important.
Since the outbreak of COVID-19 last year, I think China has offered a helping hand to developing countries, including Kenya, where you served previously. So based on what you have observed and experienced, how would you describe China's role in this global fight against the pandemic?
Probably it's an opportunity for me to right now thank China for back in March 2020, when there was a complete breakdown of global supply chains. We were having challenges of finding PPEs and gloves and medical equipment to respond to the pandemic. But the Chinese intervention of bringing in PPEs and supplies back in March 2020 was so important for us because it allowed the frontline health workers to get ahead and be able to provide a response. This support was just not limited to Kenya. The support was extended to all of Africa. So certainly as the former UN resident coordinator to Kenya, I want to express my deepest gratitude to the government of China with the speed and the effectiveness and the compassion with which it reached out to many countries in Africa who were grappling with just to find the basic supplies.
Speaking of this global pandemic, I think vaccines are really crucial to end this pandemic. Yet we have observed, some disparity and some inequalities in terms of access to vaccines between the developed countries and developing countries. Well, authorities in China says that Chinese vaccines will be made a global public good and contributing to the accessibility and affordability of vaccines, especially in developing countries. So what is your take on that?
You know, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, has been very vocal on the equality of vaccines. And I commend the government of China having declared vaccines as a global public good, which is what it should be. I think China's leadership at the United Nations level in supporting the COVAX facility is very, very important. I think it's giving very important messages to the rest of the world because we should not further reinforce inequality. There should be no country, no people, no population, no village, no community left behind.
We know that you took office here in China in January and you spent a pretty long time in quarantine.
I came to Beijing on the 6th of February. I arrived in Guangzhou. What I found fascinating was every department of government working seamlessly. Whether it was the local authorities, the MFA, the health, all working seamlessly to make sure that we got through the airport, through the process of checks, straight to the quarantine hotel. And what was most important was, there was no privileges in this. Everybody was the same because this virus does not discriminate between your rank. The virus can go anywhere. And then when I came into Guangzhou, I didn't have any human contact except a person coming in the morning and in the evening doing a temperature check. I realized that if every country in the world actually had a robust process of quarantine, of tests, of isolation, of tracking, tracing, I think we would have ended this pandemic a long time ago. The point is, I think China has some important lessons from a public health perspective. And that was one most important realization for me during this 3 weeks of quarantine.